Hi everyone, thanks for joining in today on the Archives webinar. As was shown on the screen just before, if you'd like to ask any questions, please just type into the chat window down in the bottom right hand corner. So just to make sure everyone can hear me okay, could I get someone just to say hi in the chat window, and so you can let me know you can see my screen and hear my talking.
Hello, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Natalie. So you can hear me okay. So yeah, today we're going to be going through the Archives module. This is a module that has been around for around about a year. It's been having quite a bit of work done to it just to make sure it does exactly what we want it to do. So we're just going to walk through today and show you how that works. We've got a few examples here. It's not going to be a very long webinar because it is quite a simple function, but I think you'll get the idea very quickly. This is one of our clients who actually just installed the Archives module recently. So just to give you an idea of how it looks when it's first installed, they've got their Archives timeline just showing under their Staying in Touch menu system, and then we can just come through, click on Archive Timeline, and then that's just loaded up for us. So you can see when it's first installed, it obviously doesn't have any items on it, and that's from where you can populate the archives. So just having a look at a few examples of what some clients have done with this. This client here is actually promoting their archives on the front page of their site and having an archive picture of the month. Obviously that's very similar to a lot of schools doing these sorts of things on social media as well. Like Flashback Fridays and Wayback Wednesdays and these sorts of things. So the archives is obviously something that can generate a lot of buzz and activity. We've just come through to their archives page. Obviously they've got a bit of an intro here with their committee for the archives committee being displayed. Obviously you've got the ability to just change the content by clicking on the little edit icons as you do at any point around the site. And when we scroll down here, you can see this is their archive timeline. So they've got their all their items having been uploaded. They've got their magazines. We can actually go back and scroll right back to through the 2000s, through the 1990s, 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, and back into the 1800s. So these guys actually go right back to, for their magazines, 1888. So obviously these have been scanned from the archives, and we'll give you a little bit of information a little bit later on about that process. And if we actually go back even further, you can see they've got archives such as a photo of their foundation stone from 1512 and their original lease of land from 1507. So obviously it's a great facility to be able to upload all this content and have it available online. And when we're reading the magazines, you just need to upload them in PDF format, and the system will automatically convert that to this full page display. And you can see at the click of a button I can now read their 1888 Red Book, which is their school magazine. These are connected with share mechanisms, so you can see I can then just share that via email. There's a lot of options there available, so you can actually search for names within the magazines. You can bookmark, print, etc. So that's one example of what a client's done. Another example here for another one of our schools, if we just go into their community system, you can see we've got archive again. And that's just loading up their timeline. And the interesting thing they've done here is they've focused on a lot more on just having a wide variety of types of archives. So the first thing that's loading up here is the school magazine, and you can see that's there now. So again, we can just go full screen and read the magazine. Obviously with quite graphically intense images, sometimes it can take a while to load some images, but it's generally pretty quick. So as we scroll back, you can see they've got their science quiz competition winners, so just photos and a little bit of a blurb as well. We can come back and they've got the prefects room in 1964. They've got Potato Camp, which I'm not sure exactly what that's about, but that's in 1942, and gym lessons in 1915, going back to the first photo they've got here, which is the kindergarten class of 1886. So again, it's just a matter of selecting which items you'd like to make available and upload to the timeline. We have a filter available here, so you can, when you add archives, you can choose what type of archive it is. You can choose who it's relevant to. So let's say it was a reunion, a 10-year reunion, then that's you can filter by 10-year reunions on the timeline, or you can actually tag people in an item and then run searches on those people. So that's another example. If we come through to one more, this is Santa Sabina in Sydney, and again we'll just go through to their archive timeline. Now what these guys did is they got their magazines actually all scanned. So we have negotiated a deal with a scanning company, and that's Databinder. So if you want, we can arrange to have your magazines picked up from the school. It'll be picked up by a courier, sent through to Dennis to have them scanned, and then he'll send them to us, and we just upload them to your archive system, and then they just get sent back to you via courier. So it's quite a simple process, and they have a kind of a staggered pricing structure, and because of this arrangement, they're offering their lowest possible price to scan to all our clients. So just contact us if you'd like more information about that. But you can see they've got all their magazines going back to 1974, and then starting up again in the 1950s, 40s, and then right back to 1937. So I'm now reading there when it loads up. As you can see there, it's actually got a liking mechanism as well. So people can obviously just like an item, and that's something that's tracked, and we're monitoring their engagement at the same time. And Natalie's just asked to flick through some of these pages. So this is one of the magazines that was scanned, and we can just go in and actually zoom in as well. So sorry, that search is zoom in, and you can see it's you can actually have varying degrees of quality of scan, and it's just a matter of choosing which quality that you want. And Beck's just asking about the process for scanning. So we'll send through pricing details after the webinar. And Bridget has asked about the OCR scanning. Yes, it does. It text recognises, so you can go in and actually search for, let's say, Smith. And let's go back to full screen, and you can see we've got a Smith on page 45, and then another Smith on page 53. So Jeffrey Smith. So clearly you can see here that even though the text is in the original scanned font, it's still able to text recognize. So that's really the archive timeline. A couple of other things with regards to this timeline. You can see this add new item down in the bottom left-hand corner. This is not only available to administrators, but it's actually available to the whole community. So anyone who logs in can have the ability to upload the items to the timeline, but obviously only administrators can approve it for display. So the key here is that not only are we creating an interactive display to make it nice and interesting and engaging for your community, but we're reaching out to them and saying, well, what do you guys have? And obviously, as far as archives, possible archives for a school goes, the school is only going to have a fraction of the possible archives. It's all going to be out there in the community under beds and in cupboards. So being able to use this to reach out to the community at the same time and see what kind of gems you can discover is obviously obviously a very powerful tool. So people can just come along and upload, and then you can just approve that for display. And if it's something particularly interesting, you could reach out to them and say, would you be interested in donating that to the school, or bequesting it, or something like that. So if we now just have a look at what we think is actually an important feature of the archive timeline, is not only the fact that you're offering this to your community. I'm just going to jump to a particular point in this demonstration, and it's not just the fact that you are offering an archive timeline to the community, it's the fact that it fits into this whole idea of locate, engage, advance, because those who've trying to involve their community and try and achieve some benefit back from their community, this is the process we describe. And you can see that we've got the archive timeline there right in the heart of the engagement. And what makes it really important having it as a part of the Potentiality Online community is that it's a driver of traffic. So on the right hand side, you've got your mechanisms for getting mentors for current students and raising money and all these sorts of things. But the archive timeline fits into this because you're driving traffic to the site and you're getting people involved and engaged. So even though offering the timeline as its own entity is a very interesting and engaging facility to offer, it's even more important that it fits into this whole locate, engage, advance diagram and becomes a driver of traffic. Karen's just asked if we get notifications. Yeah, you get notifications if someone uploads, and then you can just go in and approve it for display. Okay, so if there's any other questions, please just type them in now, because that's all we need to go through today. If we miss any of the questions, feel free to send them through via email after the webinar. We'll also send a... okay, Karen's just asked how to upload a document. All you need to do, so for example, we've got these PDFs here which have been uploaded already, and if we just click on add new item, and we could, for example, say it's the 2015 magazine, and we can put in a description, then we choose the type of media, so upload image or PDF, and as I mentioned, if you upload a PDF, it immediately converts it to the page turning display. Website URL, photo board, so you can actually connect with photo boards, and so if you run an event and then you'd like to make an archive item out of that event, you can connect directly to the photo board, and then we've got text only as well, and just click browse and you can just upload any PDF that you've got available there. So it's quite simple. Then you can just choose any search information if you wanted to. And yeah, we will send through to all attendees a link to this recording, so you can pass this on to anyone if you like, and also the pricing information. So that's that's really the archive facility that we're wanting to show. As I mentioned, if there's any other questions, just shoot them through via email. But otherwise, thanks very much for joining, and we'll be having another webinar next week. Thank you. See ya.